Okay, I started on this already without you. I put the inner primary on and just put the bolts in. I put a little bit of sealant 3-bond around this part of the housing here. I didn't need to take that stator off. You don't have to take that off. When I was looking at it here, I thought the plug was coming out of the side of the inner primary, and it just comes out of the edge of it. Out of the edge of the crankcases there, so it doesn't need to come off, but it is kind of good that I did check it. I took it off because all the screws were finger tight. Somebody's had this off before, so I'm going to Loctite those back in with blue Loctite. They were just loose, or just snug. That's all they were. So I got the seal straightened out on the back of this. It's still in good shape. There's just no wear to it at all, and I straightened it out. It's good. I didn't have a spare, but I did order one of these, or I picked it up locally. It's an original HD one, and I'll put that in there. When I get to that, right now I'm just putting the starter motor in. It just took me a little while to find that one bolt that fell down. It was back in here. I got it with my magnet. And then I also took off that little chrome bracket that held that chrome cover over the inner primary, which I'm getting rid of. I'm not real big on all these covers. I don't mind chrome parts. If you had a chrome inner primary, chrome derby cover, chrome starter motor, chrome, regular stuff like that, I don't mind. But covers, like even this cover here, I'm not a big fan of on the transmission cover there. Well, that one's bolted on. A lot of them are just fake little covers, and they end up, they're a lot more weight on your bike. Where is that one? Here it is right here. Yeah, it looks nice, all polished up chrome. But this is the bracket I just took off of the rear exhaust. But when you go to work on a bike, like I had to take off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts to get that off, to get out my inner primary, to get that off out of the way. And it's the same with the Harley. This is the way the stock Harley comes, like this, but you can get the bumpers, the Harley bumpers, and I've got them. They're all right in there. And they're not a bad idea, I guess, if you don't want your bike dinged up, pushing it into places. And they got the chrome, the chrome lights you can put on the rear bags. It's a pound here, a couple pounds here. There was a bike that came into our shop there in the 80s that, I guess it won a couple bikes. I think it was 1976 FLH, as I remember, shovel head. And it had to have had over 200 pounds of lights and chrome on it. And the bike weighed probably near 1,000 pounds. And we had the safety of that bike. I didn't. I wasn't licensed at the time to safety it, but the other mechanic did. He went to take it for a test drive and nearly crashed it. He was all over the road like this. He couldn't, it was so heavy he couldn't hold it up. And then when the new owner came to pick up the bike, and he was a little smaller guy, French Canadian, and the bike was all blue, I remember that, and all the lights were everywhere on the bike. Just everywhere, loaded with them. He had to have a bigger alternator on it. And he took it out of the parking lot, and he couldn't handle it. We watched him. He crossed the road and whoop, whoop, like this, whoop, 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 boom, hit the curb, dropped the bike, smashed. He couldn't hold it up. The bike was so top heavy, and he was a beginner rider and shorter guy. He couldn't hold the bike up. Didn't get hurt. Bike was all dinged up. We told him, you got to get rid of the weight off that bike. I don't know if there's a law of how much weight you can put on the bike or not. But for safety, I don't know if there's any regulations for that or not. So here's one other thing I'm going to show you. I'm going to put that starter motor on. I bought one of these things. It came in yesterday. Right here. Through Twin Power. And it's a starter relay bypass. And Just replaces this cover here, 3 bolts, bolted on, you're all set. What I did is I drilled a little hole in there, and because once in a while this bike was going click, 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 click until I figured out that ground there, that poor ground on the relay up here. And it wasn't only that relay ground connection at the frame, it's also the ground connection at the relay was a little bit corroded as well too. And I crimped that wire and cleaned that up, and man, it starts, just touch that button now and it starts right up. But so what I did though is I drilled a little hole in here. It's not gonna hurt. I could put a little glob of black silicone in there and you would never even know that. But that way if you ever got stuck, you can just shove a nail in there or a little fine screwdriver and push the plunger in and it'll start right up. But what I did is I ordered one of these just to have it on there in case something does screw up. Who knows, maybe the starter button up here will go one day, you know, or that relay will go again. So it's not a bad idea just to have one of these on there. Now, I just put a little bit of assembly lube on these bolts because it's got graphite in it. A little bit of graphite. Okay. There's the wishbone there that holds the exhaust manifold on and then goes to the 2 starter bolts right there. So I'll put this back on first. And then the ground wire from the battery goes right here. Anyways, what I was looking at here is it's got a little slot here in this, because I was wondering when they had this peened over at the end of the bolt here, you know, what was holding it in? Well, this washer's keyed, and the key locks into this little slot in the shaft here, the little fly cut right there in the shaft. So make sure you get that lined up. And that's what holds that bolt still from coming out. A lot of force on that bolt. Okay, let me put that back on. I got that lined up in there. Let's see, where it is here. Get the hell out of my way. Bend that little bolt there. It's not very much of a bolt to it. I'd rather crimp it over. There we go. A skinny little bolt. If I hammer too much, I could easily bend it. So that's good. Okay, what's next? I'm gonna put the stator back in over here and put a little blue Loctite on all of those screws that weren't very tight. Okay, let me get that ready. Right down in here. Still fairly oily, so I'll see if I can push it through. It's going to be kind of hard to see. Where's the light? It's got little fingers on the side of that rubber grommet there you can kind of push on. Okay, so now this is going to locate. About like that, I guess. I think it'll be easier to get this little plastic holder in with the screws in right now. Yeah, a taper. It's got a little taper on either side. The taper goes out to form with the circle there. Hunched right over, working like a dog. This is where you want it up on a frickin' hoist. Pissing me off. I almost gotta lay on my belly to get in there. Camera isn't going to do nothing up there. You can't see nothing. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, I might be able to put this, get this out of here, up out of the way a little bit. Hands of a surgeon. Fuck up. these were the little screws that were just in there, just barely in there at all. Maybe that's a new stator, I don't know. But let me find my torque bit for that. This one, I think this one here, yep. Okay. I'll wipe the oil off these and put a little bit of blue Loctite on them. Whoops, dips. That's what you call a lot of Loctite. Okay, put a little bit of that on there. One thing about blue Loctite is you won't pull the threads out. Just a little stiff getting out. I just snug them all first and then give them a little tweak. Quarter turn. Okay, that's good there. Now up here, there's the grommet sticking out. Plug it back in. Get in there, and then you push this back down like that and tighten up that 1/2-inch bolt. Pushing down on that. Oh, you bastard. Get up there. Oh, fuck. I gotta get a new socket. That one is stripped. It's just worn right out. Yeah, look, it's not even pushing down on there. That's where you want it, right there. Okay, so now we put the rotor back on. There's one shim in here. Goes on first. This is a magnet, so you want to make sure you don't get any filings on it. Bolts stuck to it, washers, nothing like that. Caution. No sharp blows. Whew. That goes on by itself. We know Well, the magnets are good there. Okay. Next is all these parts. Got the big washer, spacer. We got 5 shims. I'm not sure what these shims are. They look like about 10 thou each. You don't want any dirt in between them, each other. This shim is thinner, maybe it's 5 thou. All kinds of birds here. Okay, that goes there. Like that. Okay. Okay, now I think we're ready for the clutch and assembly. Goes there. Get this nut on here first. Oh, it's left-hand thread, this one. That goes that way. Okay, now my compensating sprocket here, compensator. We're getting close. That's there. This is left-hand thread. We'll tighten up this one first. reverse this one. Okay. Okay. Get the clutch part in there. I'll put the snap ring in and then I'll adjust this here. Well, I won't adjust it yet. I gotta loosen the cable off to adjust that. Okay. The snap ring, you always put the round edge in, sharp edge out so it gets more bite. It's a little stronger that way. As far as I know, all snap rings are punched. So there's a sharp edge and a round edge. This one's fairly rounded off here. Just doesn't quite get in there enough. Oh, my hands are all oily. This is all oily. I'll wash my hands every once in a while. I squeeze these things all the way together and the two ends meet. So it's really hard to get in there. They're gonna have to put the butt in first. And then the top in. There we go. There we go. Make sure those are in there, like that. Oh, that's a tight fit. Okay. Okay, let's figure out how this all goes back together. Hopefully I can get this back together. I'm taking it apart again. Okay, like that. Is it upside down? Upside down. I hope I don't have to take that apart. lesson learned. It'd be easier to get that up there. Oh my word. I just don't do this enough on these bikes to know the tricks. Okay. Yeah, I may have to loosen this top screw to get that in there right. Dummy. Yeah, I should have assembled that bolt in between these two, but I can loosen off the screws here and then slide it up the hard way. Okay, 10 minutes later, I end up taking off this big nut. That's the crank. Quickest and easiest way. But I had an issue with that. One of those washers fell down when I was putting it together. I squished the washer, so I had to take the washer out, hammer it out flat again, and then Dremel it. Dremel the little burrs off the middle of that washer. Cleaned it all up, fit it back in there. Just took time. Stupid mistake. You know, that goes like that. Okay, so where's the other piece here? Right here. Okay, here's the new slipper. There's the washer and the nut. Okay, so now this goes like this. Phone ring. Okay, we got the slipper in there. Where'd the nut go? Here's the washer. Here's the nut. Get this snugged up a bit here before I start reefing on these things. Seven sixteenths, where'd you go? How do I lose these things? Nope, that's not it. That's not it, that's not it, that's not it. Oh, good. Where is it? There's that one. Yeah, that's my 9/16 that I'm missing. Oh my God, I cannot find anything. Okay, there's 9/16. Okay. The slack when cold is 5/8 to 7/8 of an inch. What do you think that is there? Pretty close, I think. When it's cold, so I'll pull it down to the bottom, right about there. That's at 11. 2/8, 3/8, 4/8. So the top is at 11. And then the top is at 1/2 inch. That might be a little bit too tight, according to that. It's a 1/8 too tight. So probably just one tooth on that back bar there, right there. That seems a bit sloppy, but let's see. There it is, right at the top of the 11. And there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eighths. That's good. Right there. It looks sloppy, but that's it. Found my 7/16 socket. It was on my air gun over there. I don't want to tighten those things up too much. I think right about there. I could keep tightening and tightening those because of the plastic. I'm just gonna bend these over with some pliers or vice grips. So this one here, let's bend that like that. Bend that like that. Okay. We're all set there. Everything's tight. Oh, I'm gonna adjust this here. Let me loosen it off first. 5/8 this one here. 11/16. Let me just loosen this and I get. Oh my gosh. I don't think that's left hand. Loosen the cable off. And that's an Allen head there. Okay. It's almost vertical here. Let's see where it's at right now. Wow, it's tight already. Huh. Let me loosen that cable off some more. Okay, I got the cable loosened right off. That tightens it up again, so loosen this off some more. Okay. That cable was not set up right. Okay. I got lots of free play up there. This clutch was not set up properly. So now there you go. Right there. And okay, so that's about where it is, right there. I don't want to force it any more than that. And then bring it up a quarter of a turn, which is just about right about there, and tighten. Okay. I'll put my handlebar up here. Still got tons of free play, so now I'll set the free play on that to a 1/16 of an inch over here on the cable. So that clutch adjustment was way out. I had a hard time finding neutral. A little bit more, maybe right about there. That should do it. Yeah, because that adjuster there on the cable was turned right out to the max, and this tensioner here was turned out a half a turn out, so it was all out. Wasn't properly set up. So hopefully I can find neutral a little easier. Get that grommet over there so it doesn't rust. There's that. I'm not going to stick the linkage on yet until we get this cover on. And I think that's where we're at. Let me get all my stuff cleaned up here first. Okay, I think I'm ready to put this on. Just kind of cleaning stuff up. Clean that, I'm going to reuse that gasket. And just cleaning up the cover. There. I'm not sure which hole's going which, so I'm just going to stick them in. And because this one's a longer one. Or is it this one? I don't know. Okay, we got 5 short ones and 5 longer ones. They should all stick out about 1/2 inch. Stir here. That one in there. Just to get something to hold it in place. Okay, let's see if this is a long one. Oh, fucking gasket's coming down, maybe. Okay. All right. Whoop. That's a long one. Whoop. I don't know if that's a long one. That looks too long there. That's a long one in there. And I think that's a long one in there. I'm missing one. That's a short one. Where's that one? What the hell? How could I be missing one? I'm missing one. It's probably up with that cover that I took off. Here's the drain bolt, magnetic drain bolt. I'm going to put a little bit of sealant on that. Not Loctite, just a little bit of sealant. Okay, let me find that bolt. Okay, she's all back together. I'll do a test drive here shortly, but it looks like it's going to rain. Maybe I can get out there before the rain. The two most difficult parts were, well, this is always difficult getting this front floorboard on to get at these two bolts in there, as my fingers don't fit. That's a little tough. And then that starter motor bolt at the back is a difficult one to get back in. But if I didn't have to take off this front exhaust, or the top bolt up there on the exhaust bracket, and that wishbone would have stayed in the same place, it would have been easier. But I had to take that off to get the bracket off the back for this chrome cover. I didn't want that hanging on there, so that's why I took that off. So that was a little difficult, getting that starter motor lined up. And fuel on. I think I'll give it some choke. I'm not sure if it's a neutral or not. Look at the color of that water, that's unbelievable. Aqua. I don't know why they got these signs up. Everybody's been swimming here for the whole summer. I was gonna go for a bike ride, test drive that bike, but there's a big storm. There's a little bit of a beach there.
It is cold.
Still cold?
It is cold.
I haven't been in yet this year. No beach.